In this video, we're going to go over the process of navigation in the application designer. Navigation in Status Enterprise behaves very similar to the way you'd navigate your favorite website. You can link to a mimic, then open it from another mimic to view it. Now let's take a look at how the navigation process works. I have a project that I created for this demonstration open already, so I'm going to go ahead and open the main page SAML file to access my canvas. Next, let's find the navigation controls in the toolbox. These can be found under the navigation group. We have a number of controls that you can use to navigate through your project. We've got gel buttons, which resemble a gel-like substance, some more generic looking buttons, a border style navigation control, and then some navigation list controls. We won't be working with the navigation combo or navigation list today as they require more complex model design. For more information on these particular controls, please see the video dedicated to the more advanced navigation techniques. Now let's work on configuring the navigation parameters for a button. To do this, I'll need to draw out one of our controls, so I'm going to select one of the navigation buttons, then draw it out on this canvas. Now I can configure the navigation parameters. If I switch to the Properties tab, then find the Setup property, there's a button I can click to launch the Configure Navigation Properties dialog. This is where you'll be configuring all of the settings for your navigation. The first property you can configure is the assembly. In the application designer, all projects are built into an assembly, or DLL file. Generally speaking, you're only going to be navigating to pages located inside your current project, but it's possible to load pages from other assemblies as well. This falls beyond the level of complexity that we're working with in this video, so we'll leave this as is for now. The next property is the page name. This is the new mimic you're wanting to view when you click the button. Echoing what we talked about a moment ago with assemblies, you'll notice that when I expand this dropdown, I can see a list of all of the pages listed in my project. Each page will list the project namespace and then the page name. For this demonstration, I'll go ahead and select the navigation page and set it as the page that I want to load. Below that, you have an option for caching the content of pages. When checked, the client will cache the contents of the page that you've navigated from. This can be useful if you need to hold persistent data or just want the mimic to load faster next time. The next group is for controlling how the new mimic should be loaded. The first option you have is the title of the window. This field is optional and will set the title of the window to whatever you've set in this field. The next options are whether the new mimic will be loaded in the existing window or if it will be opened in a new window. When using the Replace option, there's an optional parameter for loading the new mimic into a named element in your existing mimic. For example, let's say I have a canvas named Nav Canvas. If I wanted my new page to load as the content of this canvas, I could set the target name to Nav Canvas and it would load in that element. I won't demonstrate this since it's designed for more complex setups and will be covered in our advanced navigation training video. If you're looking to create a new window, there's some options you can set to control how this window will be presented. You can set the window style, the position when it's opened, the width and height, whether the background will be stretched or not, and whether it will be modal or not. The next set of options are for configuring a relative path and an asset selection. The application designer supports template documents, and if you're wanting to navigate one, you'll need to set this to the asset you want to view with your mimic template. Just like the target name property, this will be covered in more advanced training videos. So now I'll click OK to finalize our navigation setup, and this button is ready to be used. Before we test this, let's quickly make another button that opens a new window. To do this, I'll just copy and paste this navigate button, then move it so we can see both of them. Next, I'll find the setup property and click the button, then change it to create a new window. I'll leave it as tool window and click OK to finalize the configuration. Now we have two buttons we can try in the runtime, so I'll go ahead and save this mimic by pressing the save icon in the toolbar. Next, I'll click the build and run button to launch the runtime client. I'll then click connect and wait for it to log in. Now, if I click the first button, you'll see that it's replaced the mimic we were looking at prior with the one we selected in the configuration dialog. For convenience, I've added a back button to this page as well as a close window button. Both of these buttons are plug-and-play style controls where there's no configuration required. You can simply drop them on your mimic and begin to use them. I can then click this back button, and now I'm back where I started in my navigation. Now if I click the second button, you'll see that a new window has opened instead of replacing the existing mimic in our current window. You'll also notice that our back button is not visible anymore because we launched a new window. Our close button, however, is still visible, and if I click it, the new window will close and I'm back where I started. We've now successfully gone through the process of configuring navigation in the application designer. In closing, Status Enterprise is a powerful, easy-to-use tool that lets you design once and deploy multiple times. For more information on Status Enterprise and the application designer, please visit us on the web at www.bscada.com.